She made me move like I was the extra. That is what I said out loud to the white plate in front of me as my girlfriend's father slid into my seat at her birthday dinner and grinned like he had won. People laughed. She laughed. I stood up, took my jacket, and told the table I was done. If you are wondering whether I overreacted, hang on. By the end of this, you will understand why walking away was the kindest thing I did for both of us. Me, male, 26 years old. Girlfriend, female, 25 years old. Her name is Leela. We had been dating 20 months. Leela's family is tight like cling film. No air gets in. She calls her father Captain, and he likes to joke that he is screening applicants for the position of first mate. Eyes on me when he says it. Her mother is quieter, all soft sweaters and permagrin, handing out Tupperware of lemon bars like breadcrumbs into a maze. From the start, Captain tested me. Surprise pop-ins at my apartment on the way to the gym. Pointed questions about salaries and 5-year plans. Reminders that his little girl deserves the world, not a fixer-upper. The night in question was Leela's birthday. A fancy Italian place in the city. Soft lamps like upside-down pears, a pianist pushing out Sinatra, bread that smelled like toasted rosemary. I had a velvet jewelry box in my coat pocket, a gold charm bracelet with a little sailboat, a nod to Captain's nickname. I wanted to show them I listened. I got there early. Leela was glowing in a scarlet dress, hair pinned with a pearl clip. She hugged me hard, whispered, "Be good tonight," like I might be anything else. And then her father arrived, chest first, navy blazer with brass buttons, a scent of cedar cologne and possession. The host set 2 place cards, Leela and guest, which I pretended not to notice. I took the seat at Leela's right, and she squeezed my knee under the table like, "We are okay." Right before the orders, Captain clapped his hands. "Tradition," he said, giving the waiter a big smile. Then, to me, "Scoot down, pal. Birthday girl sits by her captain." Everyone laughed. Leela bit her lip like she was 12 again. I did not move. Not yet. "Come on," he hooked a thumb. "Let the real man sit next to her." And something in me iced over. The pianist tinkled through Fly Me to the Moon. The breadbasket smelled like it was burning. I slid down one chair without a word. Captain plopped between us, shoulder pressed to Leela's like a prom photo. On his other side, her mother leaned to see around him and asked me, brightly, if I had found parking. I sat there 5 minutes, listening to Captain and Leela talk about the time he made her a birthday fort out of bedsheets, how he always picks out her birthday cake. Red velvet, cream cheese frosting, Leela said, almost to prove the past tense still had power. Her father brushed a crumb from her lip. I felt like I had shown up to a play late and all the roles were already cast. I stood, calm as a stone in a river. "I am going to head out," I told the table. "Happy birthday, Leela." The pianist missed a note. Forks paused mid-air. Captain snorted. Thin skin, which was funny to everyone but me. I put cash for my untouched drink on the table, the velvet box still heavy in my pocket, and walked out past the smell of garlic and money. Would you react the same way? Leela's texts started before I hit the street. "What are you doing?" Then call after call while I stood under the awning watching the rain stitch silver lines on the sidewalk. When I did not answer, Captain texted, "Grow up." A minute later, her mother, "Sorry you were so sensitive." That one made me laugh in a way that hurt my throat. I walked 3 blocks to a late-night coffee shop. The barista slid me an Americano and said, "You look like someone just stole your dog." I took a booth. The seat was cracked vinyl that squeaked when I shifted. I placed the velvet box on the table like evidence, flipped it open, closed it, flipped it open again. My phone lit up with messages like sparklers burning down. "Leela, you embarrassed me." Then, "He was joking." Then, "Can you come back and just be cool?" The bracelet gleamed like it did not understand the new rules. My sister Naya called. She is 24, a nurse with calloused hands and a voice like a life preserver. What happened? I told her. I did not tell her about the times Captain had quizzed me at family dinners like a game show host. I did not tell her about when he accidentally texted me a link to an apartment listing near Leela's office with the caption, "This would be more appropriate for a husband." I told her what mattered. He elbowed into my seat. Leela laughed. I left. "Good," Naya said. "I am proud of you for walking out." She paused. "That man is trying to win a competition you never agreed to enter." At the coffee shop window, the rain changed from steady to sideways. A couple rushed past under one coat, laughing. A small, stupid pang. Leela called again. I answered this time. "I cannot believe you left me on my birthday," she said. Her voice trembled. "Everyone's staring at me like I did something wrong." "You let him do it," I said. "You let him make me small." "It was a joke," she said, sharp. "He always sits by me on my birthday. It is tradition." A clatter sounded like someone at her table dropped a fork. "What happens when tradition hurts someone you say you love? Do you think I'll regret this later?" she asked, but it came out like a dare. I swallowed the easy answer. Outside, a siren Dopplered past. Is walking away cowardly or wise? The next day, Leela wanted to talk. She chose a park bench by the river, as if public air could make private things seem lighter. You know those grilled nut carts that make the whole path smell like sugar and fire? It was that kind of day. Pigeons hopped like nosy old men at our feet. "I did not mean to humiliate you," Leela said. She wore the red dress with sneakers, hair in a messy bun, last night's pearl clip winking like it remembered being the main character. "You did not humiliate me," I said, and it was mostly true. "You just picked a side and called it a joke." She chewed her lip, then sighed. "My dad he is a lot, but he loves me, and this is how our family is." She spread her hands, palms up, as if that explained gravity. "Your father wants to be the boyfriend," I said. It came out flat, like a medical diagnosis. She flinched. "Gross," she said. "It is not like that." "Feels like that," I said. "He wanted me out of that seat because he wanted me out of that role. I cannot be with someone who lets her father audition for my job." Leela's eyes flashed. "My job? So I am a job to you? That is messed up." I rubbed my temples. "I mean the job of being your partner." "I am sorry my dad loves me," she said. "I am sorry you cannot handle it." "Would you defend your partner against your parents?" I asked. The wind lifted her hair across her cheek. She looked away. A jogger's dog shook rain onto my jeans. Somewhere a kid shouted, "I did it!" The world kept spinning without picking a side. Leela inhaled. "He has always been like this. When I was little, he would sit outside every birthday party because he said boys cannot be trusted yet. He taught me to parallel park by yelling praises until I cried. He got me my first job, my first lease, my first car loan. If he says move over, I moved. It never felt harmful." "You are 25. "I know," she whispered, "but I do not know how to tell him no. If I did last night, in front of everyone, he would have sulked for a week. He would have said I am ungrateful. My mom would have cried. A family walked by eating soft pretzels dusted with cinnamon. The smell made my stomach ache. I thought of the bracelet in my pocket. Yes, I still carried it like a dumb hope. What happens when we get married?" I asked. "Who stands next to you then? Whose tradition wins?" She did not answer. The pigeons moved on to someone who had crumbs. You think that was the twist? I thought so too. But it turned out I had been seeding myself in a game I did not know had playoffs. 2 nights later, my phone buzzed at midnight. It was Jonah, Leela's cousin, the one who lives like a sitcom laugh track, always in the background, awkwardly kind, the guy who offers to take a photo and chops off your forehead. He texted, "Dude, you up?" Then, "I probably shouldn't, but you need to see this." A second later, my screen filled with a screenshot of the family group chat from before the dinner. Captain, we are keeping the birthday tradition. I will sit with my girl. Aunt Kay, of course, men need to know their place. Leela, lol, stop dad, do not be mean. Captain, we will make it a joke so he does not get upset. Leela, fine, but be nice. Captain, he will laugh or he is gone. My mouth went dry like I had been chewing chalk. Jonah added, she told me not to send this, but you are not crazy. Then another text. I am sorry. I stared at Leela's fine. The world went muffled, the way it does when you submerge your head under bathwater and can still hear the pipes hiss. I called Naya. It rang once. I knew it, she said without hello. He set you up to fail, and she knew. She said she told him to be nice, I said, desperate, as if adding please to a wreck could unbend it. He will laugh or he is gone, Naya repeated, each word a small hammer. I did not sleep. At 4 in the morning, I went to the gym and ran until the treadmill beeped like a hospital monitor. In the locker room, my reflection had a stranger's eyes. On the way home, I bought a stupid, perfect red velvet cupcake from the 24-hour grocery. Cream cheese frosting swirled like a small cloud. I set it on my kitchen counter, stared at it until the frosting sweated. When Lila called at noon, I sent her the screenshot. We need to talk, I wrote. She replied with a wall of text. Jonah had no right. My dad, he is just protective. Do not make this a thing. Then, come by. He wants to apologize. At her parents' house, the air smelled like polished wood and brand new leather. Family photos lined the staircase. Lila's ballet recitals, Lila's science fair, Lila's graduation, Captain's arm around her in every frame. His smile a copy-paste. He opened the door before I knocked. Son, he said. Do not call me that, I said, and my voice surprised both of us. The mother's eyes widened in the foyer like a painting who had not been told something true in a while. We sat at the dining table. Lila tucked herself at the far end, as if distance could act like Switzerland. Captain placed his phone face down on the table like a toy gun kids are told is not real. I went too far, he said. I was teasing. It is how we are. You wrote, he will laugh, or he is gone, I said. I had printed the screenshot because I am petty like that. Paper has a way of turning air into fact. He frowned at the page. That was a bad joke, he said, which is what people say when their plan is seen in daylight. The mother cleared her throat. We only want what is best for Lila. Maybe you two are just different. I stared at Lila. Did you know he was going to do that? She looked down. I told him not to be mean. So you knew, I said. In the kitchen, a timer beeped. Something smelled like cinnamon. There was always a smell here, a soft little fog to make swallowing easier. Captain leaned back, steepled his fingers. Let us be men about this. You do not come between a father and his daughter. That is rule 1. If you cannot handle that, then you should move on. He lifted his chin like he had finished the performance and was waiting for applause. Men like you confuse love with control, I said. It was not loud, but it landed heavy. He smiled like a shark. You are not strong enough for my daughter. Lila flinched. The mother opened her mouth, closed it. The timer kept beeping, relentless. 3 sentences cut out of me like they were already formed. She wanted a boyfriend, not a boundary. I will not compete with your father. I am returning the bracelet. I set the velvet box on the table so the clap of it echoed. Lila's eyes chased it like a cat with a laser pointer and then clouded. Would you have walked away instead? I asked the chandelier. The framed ghosts on the staircase, my own stupid hope. Captain bristled. There he goes, dramatic. Dramatic is what people call it when you stop playing along, I said. Breakups never look like the movies. There was no storming out. There was the quiet work of disentangling. Lila asked me to keep things temporary, the way someone asked the doctor if the cast could just be a day or two. I told her I was done trying to pass her father's pop quizzes. The fight rolled through all the stations, bargaining, blaming, grief, anger, the late-night replay where you think of better lines and say them to the ceiling fan. For a week, I slept on my couch because my bed felt like a stage where I had forgotten my lines. My best friend Aaron left a six-pack on my doorstep with a post-it. Proud of you. Also, drink water. He came over and we watched a game with the sound off. That man is dating his daughter's life, he said finally, scratching his beard. You do not need to be the understudy. At work, the office smelled like burnt coffee and printer ink. I tried to drown in spreadsheets. Lila texted, I miss you. Then, he is really sorry. Then, my mom says give it time. Captain texted me once, good luck out there. I blocked his number, then unblocked it, then blocked it again like I was practicing a door slam. Naya took me to her favorite taco truck, the one under the overpass with the lime wedges that squirt like they're trying to apologize. She told me her colleague married a man whose mother demanded to be in the delivery room for all 3 births and wore white to their wedding, as a joke. We ate carne asada and let that image pass between us like a caution sign. That night, I opened the bracelet box and took the sailboat charm between my fingers. It was the smallest thing I had ever carried that felt this heavy. I wrote a letter to Lila, old-fashioned, because sometimes paper makes lies shy. I wrote, I loved you. I wanted a life with you. But your father is not a storm we can wait out. He is the climate. I cannot promise you a home if every wall he builds comes with a window where he is always peering in. Before sealing the envelope, I added one line that felt like a dare to myself. I hope you learn to say no to him so you can say yes to yourself. I expected to feel noble. Instead, I felt emptied, like someone had cleaned my insides with steel wool. The next morning, I drove to her place. The hallway smelled like someone's bacon and someone else's perfume. I put the letter and box outside her door and texted, on your mat, I hope it fits. Then I turned off my phone and went to the lake. The surface shivered in the wind. A kid fed stale bread to ducks while his dad warned, watch your fingers. A week later, the apology arrived. Not from Captain, from Leela. We met at a diner. Grease-slick menu, waitress who called me honey and slapped down a plate of fries with the authority of a judge. Leela wore a gray hoodie, eyes puffy, no pearl clip. She took a fry, broke it in half, set both halves back like she had changed her mind. I read your letter 6 times, she said. Then I cried. Then I screamed at my dad. Then I cried again. Did he listen? I asked, cautious, like approaching a stray dog. Not at first, she said. He told me you were weak, that I was choosing less by choosing you. I told him I was choosing myself. Then my mom cried, then my dad said I was brainwashed. Then I told him I was going no contact until he could treat me like a grown woman. Her voice broke on grown. Should I go no contact permanently? She asked the salt shaker. But I knew she was also asking me, the ceiling, the years ahead. I stared at the ketchup bottle like it might have wisdom. I cannot decide that for you, I said. But I can tell you this. There is love that guards and love that cages. Sometimes it is hard to tell the difference because both look like arms. She nodded, chewing on the inside of a cheek until a white mark shone. He said he will think about apologizing, she said. He said he is willing to meet you man to man and reset expectations. Expectations, I repeated. The word tasted like chalk again. The waitress refilled our waters. The ice clinked. Somewhere back by the grill, someone shouted, "Fire!" and then laughed like it was a running joke. I am sorry, Leela said, and the words landed soft. Not in the way my mother says sorry, a real one. I knew he was going to do something. I convinced myself it would be tiny. I chose peace to keep him calm, and I hurt you. I betrayed you the moment I kept quiet. It was the first time I heard her say it like that. Betrayal. The fry on her plate steamed on the inside where she had broken it. I loved you. I still do in the antique tense,
past perfect, but I am not going to wait in the lobby while you fight this dragon. I cannot be collateral against your father's temper." She nodded, like she had rehearsed both outcomes. I figured. She slid something across the table. The bracelet, the sailboat winking. "This is beautiful," she said. "I'm going to keep it. Not as a promise, as a reminder." Reminder of what? That I get to choose who sits next to me. The line hit me square. We both laughed, a small, cracked laugh. "Tell Jonah I said thanks. He will be the reason I ever give your family another shot, even as friends." He told the truth. We paid. Outside, the air smelled like rain that had not started yet. It felt like standing on the porch with your hand out, daring the sky to prove itself. For anyone dying to know whether Captain ever apologized, the answer is complicated. A month later, Leela sent a screenshot of his text. "I was wrong to put you on the spot. That was a bad look." Then a second text, "But he needs thicker skin." Then a photo of the sailboat charm, now on a chain around Leela's neck. I typed and deleted a response 10 times. "He is not sorry," Naya said, when I read it out loud. "He is doing PR." We had already done the division of artifacts. Leela took the charm. I kept the photos on my phone until it hurt less to delete them. I unfollowed her father on social media, which is a hilarious sentence I never thought I would say about a man who tries to sit between people. In therapy, my counselor, Dr. Lopez, asked me what I had needed in that moment at the restaurant. I said a partner. The word thrummed in my chest like a bass. Just someone to say, "Dad, stop, not tonight." Dr. Lopez nodded. "You wanted to matter in front of the person whose opinion you had already earned in private." We did the work. Why I stayed as long as I did, what early compliments from Captain had hooked me, how my own dad's long absences had taught me to perform for male approval that never arrives. I learned to say no to invitations that feel like tests. I blocked Captain for good. I unblocked myself from my life. Sometimes at night, my brain still plays reruns. The lamp glow at the restaurant, the way the room air felt when I stood, the microsecond when Leela could have said, "Dad, no," but did not. I'm not angry most days, just a little sorry for both of us, for the way we tried to use jokes to soften knives. Would you take action or stay silent? This is the part where people expect vengeance, or at least a triumphal monologue about winning the breakup. The truth is quieter than that.
Last week, I bumped into Lila's mother at the farmer's market near my place, between the kettle corn stand and the guy who sells hot sauce with skull labels. She wore sunglasses in the shade and pretended not to see me. Then she saw I had seen, and she sighed. "Leela is working on it," she said. "Her father, he is not used to hearing no." "Maybe it is time he learns," I said. It came out kinder than I felt. "She misses you," her mother said. A tear sat in the corner of her eye and never fell. "I miss her too," I said, "and I miss who I thought her family could be." She nodded. "We do not deserve you," she said, and I could not tell if it was a line or a leak of honesty. At home, I cooked pasta and shaved Parmesan over it like snow. I ate it by the window with the radio low, an old song about leaving and staying that made the room feel like a memory. I looked at the empty chair across from me and did not fill it with a ghost. There are 3 quotes that keep looping in my head when I think about what to tell the next person who asks for advice. Tradition is not an alibi. Love is not custody. Respect without boundaries is worship. And the one I hate but need, he did not cheat. He built a throne. Would you defend your partner against your parents? If not, say so early. Would you react the same way? Ask yourself before you call someone sensitive. Would you have walked away instead? If yes, you are not a coward. Is walking away cowardly or wise? That depends who is asking you to stay and why. I left a birthday dinner. I left a test I never agreed to take. I left so I could keep my self-respect. There is a rumor that leaving is the same as losing. Here is my rumor back. I have never felt more found. And that is when I realized I was not being loved. I was being managed.